Mick Jagger, the electrifying frontman of the Rolling Stones, and Bob Dylan, the poet-prophet of rock and folk music. Together, they could have created one of the greatest collaborations in music history. But shockingly, it never happened. Not because of scheduling conflicts or business deals gone wrong, but because Mick Jagger himself flat out refused to work with Bob Dylan. The reason behind that refusal is as surprising as it is revealing about the ego, rivalry, and complex relationships between rock's biggest icons. The Rolling Stones and Bob Dylan were two towering forces that defined an era. In the 1960s and 70s, they were shaping not just music, but culture itself. Dylan brought poetry and protest into popular music, while Jagger and the Stones embodied rebellion, excess, and swagger. Fans and critics alike often wondered what might happen if the two worlds collided. Dylan had collaborated with the Beatles, George Harrison, and countless other legends, so why not Jagger? The answer lies in a tangled mix of artistic differences, personal pride, and the unspoken competitiveness that fueled rock and roll's golden age. For Mick Jagger, image has always been everything. He is not just a singer. He is a performer, a showman who built his career on charisma and stage dominance. Dylan, on the other hand, has always been about words, ideas, and authenticity. To Jagger, Dylan's style was brilliant, but it was also messy, unpredictable, and completely different from his own polished approach. According to those close to Jagger, he worried that working with Dylan would mean surrendering the spotlight, allowing Dylan's enigmatic personality and lyrical genius to overshadow his own carefully crafted persona. There was also history between them. Dylan once made comments suggesting the Rolling Stones were more about style than substance, hinting that their music lacked the poetic depth of his own. Jagger, never one to let a slight go unanswered, kept his distance. While he respected Dylan's artistry, he reportedly dismissed the idea of ever working closely with him, fearing that their creative worlds would clash more than they would complement each other. In Jagger's eyes, a collaboration might not enhance his legacy. It could damage it. But there was another factor: control. Mick Jagger has long been the driving force behind the Rolling Stones, not only as their frontman but also as the band's manager in spirit. Dylan, however, was a force of nature in his own right, an artist who refused to compromise or bend to anyone's direction. For two such strong personalities to share the same studio would have been combustible. Friends and insiders suggested that Jagger feared Dylan's refusal to follow rules would make the collaboration unworkable. Simply put, Jagger was not willing to relinquish the kind of control that Dylan demanded. The irony, of course, is that both men admired each other from afar. Jagger often praised Dylan's songwriting, acknowledging his influence on the Stones' more lyrical tracks. Dylan, in turn, once called the Rolling Stones the greatest rock and roll band in the world. Yet admiration did not translate into partnership. Instead, they remained parallel giants, occasionally crossing paths socially, but never musically joining forces. Fans were left only to dream of what could have been. In the end, Jagger's refusal says less about disliking Dylan and more about protecting his own identity. Rock music has always been built on larger-than-life egos, and sometimes those egos prevent the very collaborations audiences crave. By refusing to work with Dylan, Mick Jagger kept his image intact, but he also left us with one of rock's greatest what-ifs. So the next time you wonder why two of the biggest legends in music history never came together, remember this: it wasn't fate, timing, or chance. It was Mick Jagger's choice. A choice driven by pride, control, and the unshakable belief that some legends are better left on their own.